Welcome to the dungeon. Dun dun
Welcome.
dun.
That that's gotta be the theme song, the theme
Yeah,
song. That
yeah.
song. So, is it a song? What is it? Or just an
I don't
effect, a
know.
sound effect? Is it an effect?
It's a sound effect, yeah. Dum dum dum.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it sounds like copywriting. Copy Copyright issues.
Yeah.
We'll see. Um, we're still I was talking to somebody yesterday and she was saying that she's been saying she wants to start a podcast for the longest time. And she's like, "Oh, but I need an intro. I don't want to start without an intro and outro." And I'm like, "I'm glad we just went for it, right? Like this podcast is being listened by people. It's helping people. It's bringing up conversations. Had we just waited until we had everything perfect, we would never put it out, you
I
know?"
would have never started in the first place.
True, true. So,
It's a go with the flow moment, like I mean, it happened fast when you said, I mean, we keep saying this, but we speak every day, though, like literally every day. And, yeah, like
yeah.
you were like, let's do a podcast. And I'm like, sure. And then all I see is just an image, like the dungeon. And I'm like, wow, like, shit, you move fast, like, honestly, like, you inspire me a lot because you just have this thing about you where you just go,
Yeah.
boom, and
Yeah.
that's good qualities to have, especially in this time, with people, yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and it's interesting too. Like I've been thinking about that because you keep bringing it up in our conversations how fast I move. To me, it's so normal. There's nothing weird or cool or anything about it. But as you've been bringing it up, I'm realizing that the reason I can move so fast is I make room to move fast, right? Like we've been taught we need to fill up our schedules with a bunch of things to do, and you got to do all these things to stay healthy, to make money, to have good relationships, to blah 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 blah. But then you don't have time for opportunities. You don't have time for ideas. You don't have time
Yeah,
for spontaneity,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know? And I think especially with Caribbean culture, spontaneity is like such an amazing quality that we have in our original culture, but when we whitewash it and we try to like go into the capitalism of like we need to make money, we lose on that.
yeah. And sometimes you just can't plan everything. Everything is not meant to be planned, else you won't do
No,
nothing.
no.
Nothing will get done. But
Like,
it's true, like we need spontaneity in our lives at time to time, yeah, time to time, every now and then.
yeah. Like there's people that plan sex, like they have sex on their calendar. Like I'm sure you
That's,
can
that's
always make it spicy, but still that's kind of boring.
every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Oh, no, no, I have a meeting that day, honey. Oh, let's do it 6. Can it be moved to 6? No, I have to go to church, a conference. Or can we reschedule till next week? But then we have to do it twice because we have to double.
and and whenever you're horny, it's like, no, can't do it. It's not on the schedule.
That's on the schedule. Behave yourself, boy. Get down. Good boy.
My goodness. So
Oh,
yeah,
what are we
not
talking
every
about today? What are we talking about today?
we're
Now,
talking about
listen, listen,
religious.
listen, listen, listen. We can't get loose, cause if you get loose and start laughing, that's it. It's not a wrap.
Yes, let's bring it in. Let's bring it in.
That's it. Reel it in.
So today we wanted to talk about religious trauma and people leaving the church. And maybe leaving the church might be I don't know how we're gonna title it for sure, for sure. It
Lo-
depends on how
losing,
this
losing
conversation goes.
faith, losing faith.
I love that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's losing faith as much as we'll see how this conversation goes, and then the title will be a summary of what this conversation was.
Okay.
But I think I wanted to start with some yes or no questions that both of us are going to answer. Okay?
Yeah.
So, do you consider yourself a Christian?
No.
And for me, it's a no too. Do you read the Bible?
Yes.
No, for me. Do you believe that Jesus is the only way, true, and the light?
Ah.
Only yes or no?
Can't no. If it's a no, yes or no. Gee. All right. Only yes or no. Yes.
Okay. The only way, truth, and the light. For me,
It,
it's a
it,
no.
it, 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 it's a bit dogmatic, but yes.
Yes,
Because
for me,
because it's just an yes and no answer. So go ahead.
I knew this was gonna get complicated. Do you believe that the Bible is the way to live, like the only way to live?
Um, no.
No, it's a no for me too. Um, do you believe in speaking in tongues?
Do I believe in it,
Yes.
or do I believe that it is necessary? That
Mm.
has an explanation on it also, but yes, because it's a yes or no question.
Yes, do you believe that people do it are crazy? Let's ask it
Yes.
that way. I actually believe no. Like I actually believe there's power in speaking in tongues, but I have to like explain that too. I'm like a no for everything
Wait,
except for that.
kind of pause this for a minute. Pause this for a minute. Let me
Yeah,
address
yeah,
something.
yeah.
No, the podcast, pause it. You pause it?
Oh, I'm gonna pause it now. All right, some technical difficulties, but we're back. Yes.
Yeah.
So I do believe in speaking in tongues. What else? What other yes or no question? Oh, do you attend church?
Not in a minute, no. Not in a while.
Do you want to attend church?
Want to? Really, not really.
It's a no for me too. Do you believe in religion?
No. No.
It's also a no for me. Do you believe in missions in the way that we've been taught to see missions, as in to know God and make him known? Not YWAM, but that sentence right there.
And like, I mean, these questions are tough, you know. I wish they have a little explanation. But
We're gonna
humanity
talk.
on a humanitarian point of view, I
Mhm.
think we all should be, missionaries, in terms of helping and stuff. Yeah, so yes, like in short, yes, I do believe in it.
But that's not humanitarian. I said to know God and make him known. That type of missionary, which is basically evangelism.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then you
yes,
also
yeah,
believe in the humanitarian aspect of things.
yeah.
Yeah. I yeah, I think it's a yes for both when it comes to me too. So, based on these questions, what is one thing you want what's one question you have for me based on these answers?
Okay.
And we're going to start
Um,
the conversation from there.
Okay, so why don't you want to go to church anymore?
Um, that's I had a really great aha moment to this week on the toilet, which is also where we birthed it, where I
No, you
birthed
don't.
this podcast.
Yeah, but I tell you, like, you just come with some bombs sometimes, you know. Okay, let's go.
I just say the truth. I think a lot of people have aha moments on the
No,
toilet.
no, some of my best ideas comes from being on the toilet.
Exactly. You release shit and then you get new ideas. It's like a flow.
Yeah, it is.
But I just had this aha moment where I was like, I have no resentment, no hate, no bitterness, none of that in regards to the church or anything like that anymore. And I had for some point. And I thought that was very beautiful because to me, it's a full circle moment. The reason I originally stopped going to church was just like, at first, I think I didn't see the point. Then I think it was bitterness and anger towards things that had been done and things that I had experienced. And now it's simply, I don't need to. I don't want to. There's no desire for it. And it's basically because I don't agree with Christianity in the way that Jesus is the only way, the truth, and the light, because I don't think Jesus is the only way. I do think Jesus is one way, but I'm the type of person that believe there are different ways to get to Rome or different ways to get to Curacao.
Yeah.
Fuck Rome. But anyway,
Fire upon Rome, burn.
yes.
Not literally.
No, 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 no.
The views expressed on this podcast is not necessarily those of Shay and
But we're the only one
disclaimer.
talking.
Disclaimer. Yeah, but I don't understand you.
Yeah. And it's so, to me, I've looked into different belief systems, not necessarily religions, some of the religions as well. And for me, it's the red line that connects all of them. That's the truth to me. That's the beauty of it. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to love. There are more things than that, but love, I think, is at the center of it all. And if we do things out of love, then we're doing things out of a beautiful space, like you said in
Yeah.
the last episode. Yeah.
For me, um,
Mhm.
wow, like like church was my thing, you know. I
You what?
loved it. Was my thing. I loved it. I
Oh,
loved
church.
going to
Yeah,
church. I love the idea of everything it like it presented.
yeah. Mhm.
But then you mature, you know, and then you see red flags and you start raising questions and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And just it's like, how do I put this? It's just like you can see flaws. You
Mhm.
can see flaws. You understand? And for me, if the pamphlet is Christ, you understand?
Mhm.
Then he should be our examples, right?
Yeah.
Then we should do just that. We should look at this man's life and follow suit.
Mhm.
No, I read this book once called The Heavenly Man, right? And it was this guy. It's this guy from China who has been persecuted, um, thrown into prison,
Mhm.
went through a lot, and then when he came to the West, to America, he visited a church, and he said when he go into the church, when he entered the church, he immediately knew who the pastor was
Mhm.
because this guy was sitting on a golden chair with people standing around him. feeding him and stuff like that. You know, like just doing all sort of like he knew who the pastor was.
Yeah.
So I mean that for me is like no man, it's just it take on a different thing.
Yeah.
It different. The older I get, the more mileage like I put into this thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can see the difference, and it just not seem real and authentic anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, it goes a bit deeper than that too. Because when really, really sit and think about it, I never actually enjoyed going to church. I did enjoy the connection I would have with, back then I would call it God, and now I would call it with universe, spirit, being one with it all. Like that high feeling of like, I don't know, it feels amazing when you're in worship, when you're all that stuff. And I remember one time I went to the club, and it was the first time I ever went to the club. I was, I don't know, 21 or something. And um we
I
were,
went to the club first at 21.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you're a Christian.
Yeah, well, I'm a Christian. I was. Um and so we were dancing, and I remember it was the Bruno Mars song Sky Full of Lighters with Eminem.
Mm.
Um, and it was like such an elated feeling. And I was like, when I was in that feeling, I was like, how is this different than what I feel when I'm in church? And there literally wasn't any difference. And that's when I started questioning it. I'm like, I feel just as connected to God, source, universe in this moment than I do at church. So then that made me start questioning everything. And again, for me, it wasn't the, ooh, I don't like how people do things. It was literally how I feel when I'm in different situations.
Okay, I got you. But
Yeah.
the thing is, like we're speaking about two different um thing now. I mean, the
Hmm.
question you asked earlier was what what did you say? Like
I asked a lot of questions.
yeah. I'm trying to remember which one are you was explaining the thing with church, but um we're speaking about the physical and the spiritual. Oh, yeah. When you said, "Do I believe that Christ is the only way, the truth, and the light?" You understand?
Hmm.
And then you made reference of there is more than one way to come to Curacao,
Yeah.
etc., etc. Like with spirituality, it's a total different thing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like making an example with the physical and the spiritual. I don't think it can be the same. It applies the same.
Well, in Christianity, it's the same. It's literally, if it's not Jesus, it's not it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
the only way to get to spirituality is through Jesus.
But I'm not talking about Christianity. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
religion. I'm talking about just for a relation. Because this is the thing, you know, like there's lots of religion in the world, right?
Hmm.
Christianity being the main one. You
Hmm.
understand?
Well, it's the main one in the West. Because
I
I
think in
believe,
general,
no, I think Muslim is
religion.
bigger. I think so. Islam. I
It's
believe it
bigger.
is bigger than Christianity.
Yeah, it could be.
Could
It
be,
could
but
be.
we ain't
But
scholars.
we're scholars, we're theologians or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing is, what I'm trying to say is this. Even with Christians, they don't the pamphlet Jesus Christ. They don't follow that. All right, with Muslim, with the nation of Islam,
Hmm.
those people believe in, you know what? They would die for Allah, literally.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
If you ask a Christian if you die for Christ, No, God just
They
blessed me
will.
with the house. He just blessed me with the house and the car, and why do you want me to do that? You understand? Like I said,
That's not even true. Like you haven't seen radical Christianity. I was one that would say I would have died for Christ. Like that's what I've been brought up to believe, to be
but that would
martyrs
be,
for Christ.
but that would be the way because he died for us. You understand? Like he died for us, you know.
Hmm.
Point I'm making is this: like Christians don't believe the religious, traditional religious Christians. They don't even believe in the thing they believe in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree.
They don't believe in the thing. It's more church is more of like, I mean, from my experience where I'm from, it's modeling. You understand? It's like a fashion show. You understand? And yeah, hypocrites they're everywhere, you know, but it's different when you find it in the church. So
Yeah.
some Christians would question that, but hypocrites are everywhere. They're in the community, they're in your house, they're in the, but the church supposed to be different.
Hmm. Hmm.
Supposed to be different. So so it like fuck, this kind of hard, you know what, get deep, and I think I'm gonna have to because you're
You have to
asking me,
get deep.
but
You
you're
have to
asking
get
me
deep.
tough questions with your eyes, Shay. I can see your eyes. It's like you're
Oh,
piercing my
really?
soul.
I was listening to the birds.
You're listening.
I
All
was
right, this
one
is
with
what
the birds, not
this
with.
is
I
when it
wasn't
gets.
questioning you, by the way.
No, your eyes. No, well, listen. This is where it gets. It the detaching began for
Mhm.
me,
Yeah,
and I'm going back to YWAM now, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's just with the whole I shared in episode 1 and 2, just the whole thing with Anne and myself, and just a brief bit of some of the things we went through. I went through,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know, and then when we leave, while we left YWAM and stuff like that, it's just just conforming back into society, working. Our son was born at the time and stuff like that, and being new parent and stuff. You understand? And then,
Hmm.
I mean, I could see the flames just dimming in her eyes, man. I can see like she wanted to be that YWAM in that
Hmm.
in that
Hmm.
setting. You understand? And it's like a huge sacrifice she's making for me and her marriage. And I'm
Yeah.
saying it shouldn't be burdensome. It should like a marriage shouldn't be burdensome.
No,
Like
no.
you understand, it shouldn't be you sacrificing something you believe in for me. Like you're doing
Hmm.
it for me. And that's love. You understand? And I always say to her, if I should make $1 billion today, wherever she is, like whatever she's doing, like she's gonna bingo. If I bingo, she's bingoing also. You
Yeah, yeah.
understand? Because she I mean, she was like she was there. She sacrificed a lot, but I
Hmm.
could see like she was dimming, and then we started growing apart.
Hmm.
And then I started praying, God, you you know it. You've seen where I've prayed for a dead man to come back to life already, right? A dead
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. Uh-huh.
So because I believe in prayer, I believe in it, and I'm like, God, like listen, me and your relationship kind of different because I came to faith trying to prove you to be a liar. Literally, I wanted to prove God to be a liar. Start reading the Bible, the things I've seen it that He says He's gonna do. If I live and I act a certain way, I
Hmm.
started living and acting those certain ways.
Yeah.
You understand? And yeah, I don't know, but he always stay faithful and truthful to his words and promises,
Hmm.
right? And so this is the big thing now, my marriage. That I believe in I have to save this thing, and more I have to save it and stuff like that. And
You
then
oh,
instead of
you wanted to save it. Yeah.
yeah, and instead of getting better, it started getting worse. I'm
Mm.
like deeper, deeper into praying, deeper into praying, deeper into praying, deeper into praying. I don't think I fasted though. I'm not a, I'm not a
You
new
were too
believer and
hungry.
pastor. But fervent prayer of a righteous man availed much. So I prayed, 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 and the longer it took for things to fix, because I was literally just praying and sitting down, waiting
Mm.
for boom, miracle had it fixed. And she come one day and said, "Oh, hey," and wow, the birds chirping and flowers blooming in the middle of winter, and we're back. That never happened, Shay. The reality bubble burst, and
Yeah.
then I started to like question God.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And for a minute, Shay, like my relationship with God just went a
Yeah.
fucking wire, man. Like,
Yeah.
and so I developed a split personality. I don't know, every now and then you hear me referring to myself as Sean,
Mm-hmm.
but that guy came out of me. And
Is Sean like a alternate personality that you've always
yes,
had, but
yes.
or is somebody that came out during that dark times?
It was there. I think it was there now.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to my childhood. I have to submerge a lot. I
Mm-hmm.
saw things I wanted and couldn't afford and stuff like that. I had to submerge a lot of things, and because I
Mm-hmm.
always believe in time. In time. So I waited, I waited, I waited, I waited. But even being disrespected from the community and from like a lot of one time a guy punched me in my face over a girl.
I'm
Boom!
not surprised.
What a media that surprised.
I'm
I
not
was
surprised. I know where you're from and I know how
oh,
I have an idea
but
how these guys act.
but I'm like I was in the you remember last week I speak about these three sound system in the community, Daddy
Yeah.
Jump. So they have their own lawns. Lawns is like they're their own clubs where they playing. You understand?
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
And so I was at one of those one Friday night. And this girl came up to me and was dancing and talk and stuff like that. And the guy just come and punch me in my face. I'm like, I don't have any bad family. And I have access to getting guns and stuff like that, but that wasn't me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so I submerged all those things. Like I could literally
Mm,
play it out in my head, like what I'll do to this guy and blah 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 blah. And how I'd go about doing it, because I think if I was to dabble in criminality, and I would be a very, very, very intelligent one.
yeah. I would think so too. And
I'd be
ruthless.
a very intelligent one. Nobody would know. Understand?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so Sean was there, but then he came out, man. And then
Mm.
all the things I wanted to do, I never used to do. I bought a Beamer, and then I bought another Beamer. I'm like, I'm going all out. I start, and then
Beamer is
the
what?
car, BMW.
BMW. Okay. Because I know
So,
it's the
so
who got the car keys to my Beamer. But
yeah,
I
yeah,
never
yeah.
really cared to find out what. Yeah, you bought a BMW and then you bought another BMW and you were pimping.
And I was just going then, like even some. I want to say relationship. I was just wilding out because I'm like, listen, this is the girl I love, and I'm praying to you and I'm faithful and I've lived according. I wasn't perfect. I could never. No one can be perfect. You understand? But I tried,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then it went haywire, and then even being apart, she went back to Mobe. I stayed in Kingston. Then I just bought a ticket one day and I just left Jamaica. You understand? And
Mm.
and and so like I'm like, I'm gonna live my best life.
Yeah.
I've lived my best life.
Here's the question. Was it your best life though? It was
It
your
was
idea of what your best life
an
was.
idea of my best
Did
life
it
because
feel like the best life?
it was an idea. It was an idea because it was rebel. I was rebelling, but
Mm-hmm.
you see, like I get in trouble a lot with people. Even my mom asking me, if each time I talking to my mom, she's like, "Oh, church," because you're going to church, and like I used to lie to her. And she,
Yeah.
whatever you do, I used to say, yeah, man, like, always, because she's much older.
Uh-huh.
So even with my marriage, like, I kept it from her that we weren't together, but she started picking up. You understand? And so I have to stop lying. And so this is about church, yeah. But it goes deep enough. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
this Sean person, because that's where it started from. That's where my relationship with God. But he has never left. So
Mm.
I started reading. I started just researching a lot of stuff, man, and that's when I know that, we're going about this thing the wrong way. You understand? Even with 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 relationships, being marriage or married or otherwise. Like, a guy is supposed to love his wife. The man
Mm-hmm.
is supposed to love the girl. The girl is supposed to submit. We like, we need love from the girl. She wasn't meant to love us. You understand?
Yeah,
Because
she's
she
meant to
can't.
submit.
She will never love you the way like, she will love something. Something will come that hits her emotionally different than that love. I think a female loves is like a tree with different branches. And sometimes you will be neglected, not intentionally, but she's loving something else right now. Like, she's loving kittens. I'm gonna save kittens today. But she will submit to you, and that's what we should look for. Not so much as you look at the submission. Like, as I said, I see where me saying, and we need to leave this place. That wasn't her, but she submitted. She gave in, you understand? Like, she never eat meat, We couldn't afford fish. And cause eating healthy in Jamaica is expensive. Everywhere it's
Yeah,
expensive.
everywhere, yeah.
But, but then she started eating chicken. I'm like, this girl take a lot of health for me,
Yeah, yeah.
because that's what we could afford, you understand? So I'm saying this girl submitted, you understand? Like, she's not telling me she loves me, she's showing me that she
Yeah.
loves me and she's doing these things for me.
But do you believe that submitting should be what a woman should do? Because I don't agree with that shit.
Depends. It depends.
I ain't submitting to nobody. I'm in a very healthy, loving relationship, but I
It
don't
depends.
submit.
No, no. It depends on what you are being asked to submit to.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what you are being loyal to. I'm not gonna be. If you are my friend and you are a rapist, I'm not gonna be loyal to you.
No, no, no.
You understand? Like, it's
But
what I have
loyalty
to.
is
I'm
different than
loyal.
submission.
It's an example I'm using. It's still the
Yeah,
same though. What are you? What do you want me to submit to? You want me to submit to you? You're a drunkard. You're a gambler. You're a womanizer. You don't take care of the household, and you just want me to wash the clothes clean, give you the greatest sex of your life, and stuff like that. Same way, what am I submitting to? You understand? So it depends.
but I think submission is like such a wrong word to use because
Well, that's the Bible.
submission submission is one person needs to be dominant in order for the
No,
other
no, no, no,
person
no,
to
no, 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 no,
submit.
no, 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 no. Both persons can submit, but that's what, and both persons can love, but that's what we are called to do. Man love, woman submit. You
Mm,
understand? That's what I'm
mhm.
saying. It's
I
well, I'm
can I
speaking.
can respect that that's your point of view, but I just don't
It's,
agree
no,
with it.
it's not my point of view. It's the Bible. I'm
Oh,
literally
but I
quoting the
don't
Bible.
agree with the Bible either, so it
Well,
doesn't
well, well,
matter.
there's a lot of distortion. That's why I said, most Christians, they don't believe in the things that they are reading and they're following. They don't believe in it.
True.
It's just a lifestyle for them.
Yeah.
If they're actually called to live according to the Bible, you
Hmm.
understand? Everybody would be in the club tomorrow morning listening to Kanye West and Eminem. If they can, we can't live up to it.
Yeah.
And so it becomes like a den of wolves and lions and sheep, and everybody is trying to outdo the other. Righteousness in my eyes, you'll be trying to be righteous instead of in the eyes of the unseen eyes. You understand? And so,
Hmm.
not to stray too far, like, yeah, I started just Sean was born, and I did good for myself in America. the word, in the words
America.
of America. We call it America. Step in America with confidence. I will
What?
drive out the bed. But
All right, all right.
if you understand what I'm trying to say,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
God was always faithful. So yeah, I don't really believe in religion. I believe in relationship. God is a relational God. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll gather you under my wings, Jerusalem, like I'm like a mother hen does its chicken. You understand? He said, "Come, let's reason together." Like that's relationship. That's relational. That's a personal. We are relating right now. We are speaking.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
if I can always call on you. She I know that I can always call on you and say, "Shay, this is up and I know you'll be there for me the best way you can." If you
Yeah,
can't,
yeah.
you'd say, like I can't. You understand?
Yeah, yeah.
That's being relational and stuff like that. Buddha, you don't have that with Buddha. That's a statue. You don't have that with the rest of religion.
Well, that's
Uh,
different still, I think. But
yeah.
here's what happened to me because you say Sean was born. For me, a whole lot of things happened between let's say 2010 and 2012, right? Like first of all, I left YWAM, which was I feel also like a sort of identity crisis because once you're a YWAMer, always a YWAMer, like this type of belief system that they give you. So that was uh, a weird experience to begin with. Then my ex broke up with me. That was 2011.
Mm,
Then a few months later, I was raped in 2011. Then
mm,
a few months after, a few months, 8 months after that, in 2012, PTSD kicked in. So it took me 8 months after being raped for me to actually start getting PTSD symptoms, and it happened like literally. It felt my mind broke like this. I was
yeah.
I wasn't myself. I couldn't think. I couldn't control my mind. I was all over the place. It was a hot mess. A month after that, so PTSD kicked in. A month after that, I got in a car accident, a buggy accident in Aruba. Now I couldn't walk for 4 weeks because I flipped a buggy on my foot. But that was also PTSD related because my mind wasn't working. I shouldn't have been driving, but that's a whole thing in itself. So
Mm,
that was then. And actually, I'll add in 2013 because the buggy accident happened in September. Also in September, that same time in Aruba, my dad had a stroke,
mm,
which is crazy. And then a few months after that, I got rear-ended. That wasn't a huge car accident, but I got rear-ended and I just started crying because I'm like, God, so many things, one thing
mm,
after another. And it was in between all that. So sometime after I left YWAM and the breakup happened, that I went to the club and I started questioning
yeah.
Christianity,
Yeah.
right? And that's when also when all that shit happened, I was like, God, fuck God, like that's bullshit. But as I healed, it's interesting because when you go to really dark places, I was in a really dark place mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, like all of it. My family, everything was in a dark place during that time. Some people call that having a dark night of the soul because there was just no light. And
Gotcha. Dun, 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 dun.
I was in the dungeon. We should call that. I was in the dungeon. But as I started healing, I had to heal everything simultaneously too.
But how did you begin healing though? Like initial, like did you set out to heal or did it happen spontaneously? Like how did that come about?
I set out to heal because I was forcing it. I didn't want to give in to say, "Oh no, I'm not okay." So I couldn't work, so I quit my job and I started my own business. And that as soon as that started taking off, I couldn't manage it anymore. I was doing YouTube videos, which you can see on YouTube. If you just search my name on YouTube, you'll find plenty of videos of me. And I was getting paid to do those YouTube videos by the Curacao Tourism Board. I did it for the Dushi VIP card. I was doing things and I was making money and I was doing it on my own and it was succeeding. But at some point, I couldn't keep up with it anymore. It
It
was like
became
I had to,
overwhelming.
yeah, my mind, it was really simple. I had to produce one video a week. So we would film in the weekend and edit. I will edit it throughout the week and like deliver it by the end of the week. I couldn't. Like, I couldn't manage that. It was too much for me. And so
Well, you couldn't
I
manage
actually,
it. Was it physical or just emotional or what was that burden?
it was mentally, which translated into physically. So when I think a lot of people don't understand PTSD, right? PTSD is you feel like the thing that happened to you, the traumatic event that happened to you, is about to happen again or is happening in that moment again.
Yeah,
So for me, I was raped in my house by a stranger. Um, so I don't know who it was and or anything like that. Meaning that when I had PTSD, every single sound that I heard in the house, I would think that somebody's
yeah,
coming to attack me again. So can you imagine me being home alone? If somebody else was home, I was more or less okay. But if I was home alone and I heard a sound, I had to physically get up and go check it out. That also includes in the middle of the night,
yeah,
so that means I wasn't sleeping,
yeah,
which then, if you're not sleeping, that creates your mind then doesn't have the energy to think clearly either. So that feeds into more of that PTSD and it just becomes this cycle of ongoing things. Um
yeah,
and so I was really weak and couldn't do much. And that translates physically. If you're not sleeping, you don't have the energy, you can't think clearly to eat right, to work out, to have relationships. Because I
yeah,
never knew when I had the time to have to go meet up with somebody. Or because sometimes it would be too that I would be so afraid that I would be shaking, like just shaking, trying to like bracing for impact. Something's gonna happen to me again right then and then.
yeah.
So, yeah, all of that. I I called off the agreement that I had with the tourism board, and so I never finished some videos for them. And I took the time. I called it off June-ish, I think 2014, and then I didn't do anything until 2016 again. And I
No,
just
so you
stayed
took
by
a
myself.
two year hiatus.
Yeah, I stayed by myself. I lived off my savings. I didn't go anywhere. I just watched TV and was just existing. And my mind started healing itself. I didn't
But
do
then, but then,
therapy.
but then, but then, something happened in that time. You understand? You shared with me that you diagnosed yourself with PTSD, right?
No, I was going to a psychologist, so she diagnosed
Okay.
me with PTSD.
Yeah.
But she was forcing me to do things that I wasn't ready to do. So I basically fired her. I just never went again. I just never went again. And so, but in the meantime, I did like when I say I wasn't doing anything, I was looking at, okay, what are the exercises that I can do? What type of journaling can I do? What kind of um how have other people healed from this? What is mental health? What is um different things? And I didn't even get to what was trauma at that time as yet, but I did, research and did everything that I could with the little energy that I had. So it was little tiny bits of energies that I would go and find out something and research online. And that slowly but surely helped, and it helped, and it helped, and it helped. And I remember one day when things started becoming clearer was when I burned a journal. So my psychologist told me to write down the entire process of what happened when I was raped. And so I created a journal. I actually made it with the, how do you call that thing you tie on your shoes? Laces.
I'm not a
Lace.
shoelace, a
Yeah,
lace.
shoelace, yeah. So I was tied with my own shoelace when I was raped. And so the other shoe still had its laces on. And so I binded that journal with the shoelace from the other shoe. And I made this cute journal. I wrote the whole story in it. And at some point I was ready and I told my boyfriend, let's burn it. I'm ready to get rid of this story. And we burned it. And that's when I feel like things started moving in the opposite direction. So I was spiraling downwards, and that's when I started spiraling upwards. But it took some time still for me to fully be where I'm at today, where I can talk about it. And it doesn't do me anything. It's just a story to me now.
Mm.
Not that I'm dissociated from it, but I've lived it so much and I've dealt with it so much that it's no longer a problem.
Okay.
So, coming back to religion now, right? I went through all of that. And I didn't just have to heal the mental part, I also had to heal everything else that came up with it. Issues with my parents, issues with myself, issues with being bullied as a kid, issues with religion and church people and YWAM and all my ex, all of it. I dealt with all of it at the same time. And that gave me a different view on religion and spirituality that I still hold today, is that it is true that there is a being out there that um guides us, intuition is real, spiritual guidance is real. I
Um,
just decided to change the words because the whole God, Holy Spirit, hearing the voice of God, all that still feels a bit traumatic to me. So I just changed the words. I call it inspiration, I call spirit energy, I call God universe. And at the end of the day, it's the same shit or same amazingness. I just use different words.
I mean, all right, all right. For me, like, see, it was like a Jonah experience with me. I was running away,
Mm-hmm.
and but the thing is, you, I can relate to what you're saying, or what you're saying, because when I stopped going to church and stuff like that, I got myself closer to God.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
me
yeah,
and him
yeah, yeah,
alone.
yeah.
Me and him alone in the wilderness. And me and him alone. Me I curse him out and him just humble and patient and just listen to me and then a word like I just start feeling better after each episode and of me. God, why this? You understand that? But
Mm-hmm.
because church is like it's like schedule. You understand? Wednesday is
Yeah.
Bible study. This is that and this have to happen. It's the schedule. For me, we get up, me and God just a reason. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? It's
Mm-hmm.
like so religion became and church became like very small to me. And my relationship with God
Mm,
start grow more,
yeah,
you understand?
yeah.
So that's why I don't believe believe to answer your question correctly, the only way truth and life, I mean, you can find God anywhere. Like you can walk in and you can understand it don't have to be in a structure, building setting.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? That's not where he lives. Understand? So I'm like, yeah, it's deep, man. Like God will find you, man. Like you don't. I would say this. I would say this. Even when it comes down to just tithing, you understand? Certain. I remember a pastor told me once, if you're not showing your tithes or offering, you can't testify. You can't give a testimony.
It's all these rules and stuff. And I have an issue with rules in general. Not that I
And
don't believe that rules should exist, but I think we are made to believe that these rules and laws and stuff are perfect, and they're not.
yeah,
Like, I get it, but I just switched to Dutch. Um, for example, I get it that you can't kill somebody, you know, but if you kill somebody that's about to kill you, is that justified? Right?
but you still can go to prison.
Yeah, you can still go to prison for it,
So
and you
so
will
so
still
so
go to
so
prison for it. So,
spiritually and morally, it makes sense because that's your life. But I mean,
yeah, and so I get it. I do agree that laws need to exist, and I do agree that rules need to exist, but just because it exists doesn't mean that it's perfect. And
yeah.
people and situations are always falling between the lines, because if somebody created it, it can't be perfect because people are not perfect.
And this is now how I say it to you many a times, and I'm gonna say it publicly now. You have become like one of my biggest inspiration. Just even you sharing some of the things you have been through for a lot of people. That's you were literally mad. Understand?
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
don't leave out that part in it. It's very important. But the power of your mind, she are thinking, I tell you, you're powerful. You understand? Like, I'm gonna need
Mm-hmm.
you to believe this. I need you to see it
Yeah,
and claim it. You are a powerful girl. Not many people would come back from where you have been.
yeah, yeah. It's true.
And so like you're strong beyond like you're strong. And many people won't they won't understand
Mm-hmm.
until they like just rap with you for a day and then they would see the brilliance. You understand? So
Yeah.
touche. Keep on
Yes.
sh-
I'll
keep on
keep on
sh-
staying. But also, I wanna make an interesting correlation, right? When trauma happens, so whether it is the breakup of your marriage or it is rape and all the stuff that I experienced around the same time, we want to run away from it. We don't want to have the real and honest conversations. And I've realized that I want to call us out on this. I think that's kind of what we did after the second episode of this podcast. Like,
Yeah,
we
we
went
run from
really deep, and then we ran from it. And some people called us out. But I feel like
someone
this.
someone very dear to me said it's like the dungeon. It's like I shared this story with you, right? She's
Yeah, yeah,
like
she's like, it's a
the
book.
dungeon. If I walk into a bookstore and but Andy, if I walk into a bookstore and I saw a book, I'm looking for a nice book, and I saw a book with the dungeon that captivates me. Okay, it captivates me. I want to know what this dungeon is about. So the first thing that attracts me is the name, and so I want to know. And so I read the first page, and it was like, oh, and this and that, and then the second one, yeah, and then the third one, carnival, carnival. I want my money back. I want my money. What carnival have to do with the dungeon?
Yeah, it's true.
But
And
it's
can we
true.
just
It's
give a
true.
round of applause for Andy's female impersonation?
And the
You have
Oscar
the
goes to
same voice for all women that you try to imitate.
the Oscar goes to Andy. But it's true though, So I say that to agree with you. We ran,
Yeah, we
from
ran.
we ran and I don't think that like that's doing just our purpose justice because we have a purpose for this
Mm,
podcast, and many people don't
mm,
know. It started when we saying like we are not gonna edit nothing. We're just gonna speak our truth and speak about and regardless of what may be. You understand? And then we
yeah.
started listening to just people's opinion and episodes that we did and stuff like that. And we ran.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I always say, you know, the only way out is through, right?
Yeah.
And so we can run, but we got to face it in order to go through it. And I can not only say that generally because I believe in that, but when I talk about, you know, the dark times that I've been through, it wasn't until I like faced it and went through it that I came on the other side. Because everybody, like, I don't remember what the saying was, but this aunt of mine came to me maybe 2 weeks or so when I was raped. She was like, um, you can't stay in your pain. You got to move through. You got to go, you got to ignore it. You can't. And it was like a lot of that, you know, and I was like that too. I was like, no, this is not going to stop me. This is not going to hold me back. But things happen sometimes that must hold us back, right? And it's interesting because for me, it happened mostly mentally, but it's the same when it happens physically, right? If you're in an accident, if something happens to you physically, you're held back. There's certain things you can't do. And it's the
Yeah.
same emotionally too. There were certain things I couldn't do because I was mentally injured.
Yeah.
And I was physically injured too in an accident, but that was 4 weeks and I was walking again. It wasn't that bad
Yeah.
compared to the mental part.
I think I think we should do a follow up on this, the church.
Yeah, we can.
Like, Shay, listen. Like, and people who knows because I keep sharing some of the feedbacks with you, and even a very dear friend of mine was like, yeah, I can tell you're holding back. Like, go, 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 go. And
Mm,
so those subscribers and those listeners, we have to stay true to them. Understand? Even if it
yeah.
means 1%. So I think that we need to read because Shay, I can speak about my experiences with Wawa for days and the church for days.
Yeah.
We should follow. We should follow. And no,
We'll do
we
it.
should follow, Shay.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll talk about it more. And also, like, we want to hear from you, listeners. Um, on Spotify, for sure, you can leave a comment. On YouTube, you can too. A lot of people know how to reach us personally. If you know, do that. I mean, I'm if you write my name in a Google, you'll find a way to reach me.
Fine. They're fine.
Yeah, I'm
You're
very
every place you
Googleable.
want. You take rest, you take like you're everywhere now.
Yeah, yeah. I have a website. My website is heysheeta.com if you're curious. Um, yeah, I'm on Instagram at Hey Shadia, Facebook at Hey Shadia. Yeah, like hey Shadia.
And let's give a shout out to we are 200 streams now and growing
Yes,
200
yes,
and the
we are.
nation Australia just joined.
Yes,
So
yes. We just saw. Yeah, you gotta unmute yourself.
oh yeah. So I forgot to ask them but
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. It's going great. I feel really good. I feel good about all of it. Beautiful journey. And it's a great place to wrap up.
And the
Thank you for
journey the journey
listening.
the journey the journey continues.
Yes, the journey continues. Stay tuned for our next episode. We drop every week. Um, we were dropping on Tuesdays. We might change it to Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
But stay tuned for
I
that.
got business, people.
Yes,
I got you.
Andy's busy, but we still commit it, and we'll find the time to record an episode always.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Always a
right.
pleasure, Shay.
Yeah, man. Bye, peeps.
See y'all.